Hey, Scott from MyGrowthRings.com here.
And Seth from MyWienerYourMouth.com.
Together along with you, the three of us, we're Marco Ben's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again to Tobacco Advent 2021, day 20. And good morning, boy.
Good morning, Homer. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well.
What are we smoking?
Cornell Diehl's Haunted Bookshelf from Roger from Kentucky.
Okay. Haunted Bookshelf.
We've smoked this one before.
Oh, yes. Is this Match's favorite tobacco? Was it Haunted Bookshelf
That sounds like it could be right.
or Haunted Bookstore? I forget if that's the case. Yeah. Match is 860.
I don't know. What's today's question?
I miss Matches. What is an unusual habit or an absurd thing that you love? Unusual habit or absurd thing that you love? Can't think of one.
I should do yours and you should do mine. And we should see how we agree or disagree with what's chosen. I'll give a couple of both. Absurd habit, I've already talked about not shampooing with shampoo. I shower every day, but don't use shampoo, and that has become a weird habit. I do not go to sleep without having an AirPod in my ear and listening to a TV show, one that I've seen multiple times. So The Office, Parks and Rec, It's Always Sunny. I will always fall asleep with at least one ear, usually one, so I can turn around, and I don't lay on my left side often because of surgery I had as a kid.
But this goes back to when you were young and
Yeah.
you would listen to Garrison Keillor.
Yeah, I would listen to old radio CDs. I would listen to cassettes of Garrison Keillor and Burns and Allen and old radio shows. Then eventually TV. We don't have a television in our bedroom, but my wife is the type of person that's asleep by 10, and I'm not asleep before 1 o'clock. And so when I do go to bed, if I'm not watching even if I'm going to bed at 1 o'clock, when I lay down, the last thing I will do is I'll put an earbud in, and I'll be asleep in less than 5 minutes, so I don't hear much of it.
Do you lose them? Do they fall out of your ear?
100% of the time they fall out of my ears, and 100% of the time they wind up in the middle of my back. So I wake up, and one of the first things I do is I'll get up and pull out the earbud and then put it in the charger so that it's charged for my drive to work.
Wow.
But yeah, every single day. Is that unusual? Probably.
Sounds unusual to me.
Yeah. And it's not white noise. It's something where those shows, I have seen them so much that I don't have to see them to know exactly what's happening. And then absurd. What was the absurd part?
Either.
No,
Unusual habit
or absurd.
something absurd that you love.
The absurd thing that I love my flamethrower. I love cooking searing sous vide steak with a weed burning flamethrower. It is absurd. Anybody watching it, every person who has ever seen it, very first thing they think is, wow, that is absurd. That's overkill. That's crazy. And I love it. I love it because of the results. They're great. I love it because it is just fun. I'm playing with a flamethrower to cook my food. It's awesome. I love it. It's absurd. You?
I can't think of a thing.
Well, we have found the absurd thing in the obnoxious habit?
I don't want to think of it as that, but what unusual habit or absurd thing do you love? All right, he pointed this out, and this is absolutely true. I wanted to be a disc jockey. This is something I wanted to be as a teen, and I love music. I love background stories about music. Have always enjoyed reading the lining notes, the information about where this was recorded. finding out details about, what the Beach Boys and the Beatles and all these, any channel on YouTube that is about that stuff, I watch it. I read Wikipedia entries. I'm just fascinated about music, and I love music, and I want others to love it too. And so, ever since I was young, I have driven people nuts. Sit down a second. You got to hear this. You got to hear this. Because to me, it was so interesting, and it's not interesting to most people. It just isn't. I know that now. It took me a long time to know that. But, even today, I'm making Seth listen to something that he had no interest in, but it doesn't matter because I needed to share it.
And wasn't it G.I. Joe that said knowing is half the battle and the other half is doing it? Am I getting that right?
He is the great American hero.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is constant. So maybe having a conversation and someone says, yeah, I went to the zoo. They had a shark exhibit. It was great. And within 30 minutes, Baby Shark is playing in the middle of a dinner conversation. Have you heard this? This is great. It's Pink Fong. They're the best. This is the best version of this. Ooh, we need to go back to the original version, though.
You have something to compare it to.
Yeah, that's right. Like, read the room.
Yeah, again, I understand that there are times I'm talking and I can't shut up. I had that channel with Anissa, my coworker, now former coworker, for a while, and it got so frustrating because YouTube kept taking the videos down. But I really enjoyed being able to share music, her share it with me share it with her, talk about how it was significant, what we enjoyed about it, and I missed that. And I probably ought to just go ahead and start a YouTube channel or a blog or something. But again, I'd have the same problem that they would take it down.
You would
if you share it.
You should do a Twitch stream because when you're doing stuff live, it is less problematic.
Yeah.
You couldn't do playbacks, but you could do
I'm not going to do it.
Regular
I'm
show.
I'm going to bother you with it. That's all there is.
Cool. Thanks. I would say the unusual or an unusual obsession. I have found it unusual, but now it's working in your favor. Is the obsession with Shopsmith? Just as a company, as a brand, as a product.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
There's obsession. There have been many times where, and I'm very, very glad and grateful that the Wood Wish is working as well as it is because you know what it is. Is work. That time it wasn't on purpose. Is working as well as it is because for a long time you wanted to create a channel and talk about Shopsmith and
for 20 years.
And every time you mention, I'm like, who cares, right? I mean, yeah, this is a niche product. People have it, sure, but in the scope of the overarching woodworking as a category, it's a very small cross-sectional piece.
Okay, so here's something interesting, and thank you for acknowledging that there's an audience there. So I have.
Well, I mean, you've proved it now. So.
I have over 6,000 subscribers, but in the world of YouTube, it turns out subscribers aren't nearly as important as views and watch time. I just hit 700,000 hours of watch time. 700,000 hours. That's awesome.
That's awesome, and it's a much newer channel. I mean, Seth Godin talks about the power of a thousand true fans, right? And his point in that is you don't have to have a crazy large audience to be successful. As long as you have true fans, people that really appreciate what you do, really appreciate the art that you are creating, they will support you in a way that is many times even better than the support of a mass audience who just kind of cares.
Yeah. So thank you, boy. Yeah, that obsession began actually years before I went to work for Shopsmith. And when I did go to work for Shopsmith, that was just a dream for me. I mean, it would be like getting that job working at that barbecue pit.
Yeah.
Being able to work just when you want to, kind of a thing. I loved it. I really did. And I just sucked it all in. And I had coworkers who just thought I was nuts because to them, they're punching the clock. I couldn't wait to be there and love talking to people that were interested in woodworking. But that tool captured my imagination when I was a kid. When a friend of my dad's bought one and brought pictures in a catalog to show us what he had just purchased in Dayton on his visit. They're still made in Dayton, Ohio, and so this is now, let's say, 45 years later ish. I still love them. I still think the tools are really cool.
Yeah.
And the potential in those tools that's really cool.
And you have found a growing audience.
You're right. Great. It's weird. I get it, but yeah, it's my weird.
Yeah, I mean you have found your tribe that share that obsession, and it is now, your obsession is now benefiting them in great ways.
What's funny is there's guys that have it worse than me.
Oh, sure.
Because I'll mention something in the video and I'll say like something historic that, the original version is the Model 10E, which was replaced by the 10ER, and this is all in 1947. 10ER being experimental revised. Well, I'll get somebody will comment, well, actually, the 10ER was introduced in 1948, shortly after the introduction of the 10E. This is when they moved from Menlo Park, all this just little minute, and it's like, well, actually, the zip code then, which wasn't really a zip code, they use it. We've got people that are kind of Shopsmith historians, and they just love finding an old ad or an old article or something they didn't know existed, and then they compete with me on Facebook or on eBay to buy it. Gosh darn it!
I mean, I've seen that you've had a couple of people on via Zoom interviews.
Yes.
People that have been there 30 plus years.
Yeah.
Doing training and sales and other stuff. So
yeah, so I've interviewed 2 sales guys that have been with them for years, and I even titled one of the videos, "Your Dad Bought His Shopsmith from Mike." Probably true. And I've interviewed now, it's the head of engineering who's been with them that long.
Yeah.
And I interviewed Nick Engler, who now has a tremendous channel on YouTube called Workshop Companion. And I interviewed a guy that's got a new channel that is a young guy who just has the same bug that I do, called Woodshop Nerdery. And you would love Tom, because he looks at the world the way you do. It's like, okay, you're telling me this dust collector is better than that one, but let's prove it.
Yeah.
And so he have his dust collector hooked up to all these, air movement measuring devices and running things through Arduinos and all that. Cool.
That's awesome.
So let's get that answer from you. What is something that? Well, let me go back to the question. We'll read it officially. The official question is, what is an unusual habit or absurd thing that you love? And I think with a habit, that goes, I've got friends that eat ice cream literally every single night. And if they can't have ice cream, they'll go get ice cream.
Yeah.
Staying in a hotel, if the hotel lobby doesn't have ice cream cones, I got to run over to Wendy's real quick.
Yeah.
That's odd.
Yeah.
But
it's unusual.
It's what they do. All right, so hey, thanks for joining us. Make it a great day, and we will see you tomorrow for day 21.
See ya.